thank God, we thank God, we thank God. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Everyone who is joining, you're most welcome. I'm so delighted and I'm so grateful to see all of you as you come to this live broadcasting. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for each and every one of us who is joining. And this Kingdom Business Insight as we continue to look at our deep topic that we've been looking, which is very insightful, which is very encouraging, and which is helping us. Today we're in part 3, and in this part 3, we are looking at the cause and the symptoms of the financial. That's what we are looking for today. The cause and the symptoms of the financial depression. Remember this: financial depression is a silent killer. It does not first steal your money. It steals your will to raise. Not every broke man or a woman looks so broken. Some they are smiling in a public, and breathing is silence. That's the danger of the financial depression that people go through. As we come to the end, I know after a few minutes I'm going to give you a story, or to narrate to you a story of one of the lady whom I mentored, and I met her as she was going through a financial depression, and she never knew that she's undergoing financial depression. She thought the problem is the money, but the problem was not money. So I request you, the program, this session goes for 20 minutes. So please join me, listen to me, and be part of this program. And then within a very short moment, I'm going to narrate to you how I met Grace, and she was going through the financial depression and the suffering and the struggles that she was going through. You might be going through the same struggles in life or the financially, and you've been wondering, what should I do? You have been prayed, you have been given the sacrifice, you have been delivered, all manner of things has been done. The breaking of the curse and generations, all of them, they have been done over your life, but it seems as if there is nothing is changing. The problems look as if it's beyond that, and therefore I encourage you that you follow me as I'm going to enlighten you about the financial depression, the symptoms and the causes of the financial depressions. And you can remember very well, yesterday we said that financial depression is that prolonged state of the personal economic hardship characterized by the persistence debt, loss of the income, and inability to meet essential obligations in this life. So, and whenever you find yourself in such a kinds of the situation, the most important thing that you can ever do to yourself, it is to check to recognize the patterns that they are repeating itself. It is to understand the root cause of it. It is to know how to apply the strategies on how to raise up again. It is to know how can you recover what I've lost in this life. And in that way, you are going to be able to come back strongly and be able to go to the next to recover everything that you have lost in this. Actually, I want to say a few things before I say the causes of the depression. And some of the things that I want to say is that whenever you have the financial depression, it is a mental, an emotional, and a strategic collapse. Let me repeat myself clearly. Financial depression is a mental, emotional, and a strategic collapse. So in other words, you are suffering mentally, you are having insomnia, you are having anxiety, you are having stress, and nothing is working in life. But at the same time, remember, you are also suffering emotionally. You are having the elements of the withdrawal isolating yourself. Those kinds of the people that you find they don't want to talk much, but you find them, they are online morning to the evening, and they feel much more comfortable to speak with the people online and not the physical people. They might be in the same house together with them, but you find these kinds of the people, they are there online and they are chatting with these other people somewhere else. So this tells you that this is a sign of the financial depression that some people might be going through, when you start realizing that some people are now withdrawing from the community and from the family, and they feel more comfortable with the chatting and making laughter with other people very far away whom they don't know. The financial depression also comes very strategically to collapse your systems and the structures that you depend on. If it's the employment, if it's the business, the source of your income, if what we call the financial depression will always try to bring it down and to make sure that you don't have anything that you can use to sustain yourself. Let me say something else about the financial depression. It is when someone feels stuck, hopeless, and unable to bounce back economically. So the financial depression, it brings people to a level that they feel so stuck, so grounded. You ask the Christians, they will always tell you, I'm financially temporarily grounded, because they are feeling they are stuck, there is nothing they can offer, and they are feeling that kind of, they are on their lowest of their lowest. They have come to the end of themselves, and not only that, they are feeling so hopeless. There is no much hope before them, and therefore they feel so disappointed. Looking at the future, it is not that promising. It has nothing that they can admire to go to it. And therefore, in such a kind of a situation, that person, what he is going through is what we call financial depression. And that person needs a help. And the other thing is that you try to help them, you try to encourage them, but they don't have the strength or the resilience of the bouncing back and to recover economically. If they were doing the business, they feel they are unable to move and to raise again to the same business that they were doing. So another thing that I want to say about the financial depression, it steals hope before it steals money. So in other words, you're working very well, but you don't find any joy, you don't find any peace, you don't find anything to comfort you in your work. So, and you feel this thing is bringing you down. Your hand is so much downcasted, and you are feeling, no, I'm a bit disappointed with life, because I'm trying all means that I can do, but there is nothing is showing forth in my life. It is becoming so difficult every moment for me. So they feel their confidence, their courage, their esteem is so down, so disappointed, because they are undergoing a financial depression. And whenever you come to a place that you are feeling that your hope has been stolen and you no longer have the hope in you, it becomes a very dangerous place that you can ever be. You can't solve a financial depression with money alone. Now let me repeat myself again. You cannot solve the financial depression with money alone. It requires a mindset surgery. It requires a mindset reorganization. It requires your mindset to be worked again. So that, and this is where I've seen most of the people. They are very good in quoting the scripture, and they say, Elisha's man falls 7 times and raised 8 times. So, but as much they are falling, they are racing with the same mindset. So they fall in this business of the general shop, and then they feel that is the best business. They never get any financial literacy to change their way of thinking. And now they say, this time I want to do a boutique with the same kind of the mindset that made them to fail last time. Then they go to that one, then they fail again. And then they say, that one was not a good business, according to what I can see. Now they decide, I want to go and start now chemist. And now they start, but they have not changed their way of thinking. Their thinking pattern is the same. And therefore, this time they are following that time, but they are going to raise with the same mindset. Now they say, I want to change this business because I've realized the medicines are not doing very well. There is a lot of the competition, and so and so. And so they go now to start the construction. Then they go to construction. Then they are the same kind of the mindset. They raise up again with it. So, and that becomes the dangerous point of when you think the financial depression solution is money. It is not about the money. It is about the changing of your way of thinking. There are 4 things or 5 things that they cause, especially causes the financial depression, and one of it is what we call predatory leading culture. There is that predatory leading culture in our nation. Number 2, it is what we call the lack of financial literacy, when the people are not taken through the financial literacy. So in other words, you can have money, but you don't know how to manage. You have a business, but you don't know how to manage it. So, and the management is part of the learning process. So you have not been trained on it. So the other one is where we have the culture pressures, that you want to be like so and so, living to impress versus living by purpose. Living to the culture pressure. It is where you live to impress versus living by purpose. Number 4, it is where we have the career stagnation. No growth, no upskilling of yourself. No growth, no upskilling of your career. And therefore, it brings you to the career stagnation. I'm going to explain some of these things as we finish better. The other one is the church sirens. The church sirens. It's where I always ask the people that you are just a learned person in a career or in a profession, but the person who is speaking to you in the matters of the religion and the spirituality is someone who is not trained, and he is nothing. He can impact you in terms of the career and in terms of the business. What he can impact you is only the spirituality things which they call the revelation, but that revelation lacks the wisdom, the knowledge, and the insight of God. It is that revelation. It lacks the understanding, the knowledge, and the wisdom of God. It also lacks the counsel of God. Remember, there is a time I wrote about that in the ribs of the priest, it should bring the wisdom and the knowledge. And therefore, if that lives in the church where you attend, it lacks those 5 things, then you are in a dangerous place, and you are not supposed to be in that place, because from the ribs of the ribs of the priest, it is supposed to produce the knowledge, the understanding, the wisdom, and the wand of the counsel. And therefore, it is supposed to open your eyes and to see the future in a better way. So the other one is when you lack what we call lack of a strategic mentorship. Most of the people, they go to the business with the lack of the strategic mentorship. I want to give you a story of a financial depression here in our nation, Kenya, of a certain lady who was going through the symptoms and the causes through a grace story. This grace is a real story that I want to give you, and I want to have a case study of this woman, because she is going to help us to understand more of the financial depression, and how to recognize or to note when there is a financial depression, which is people you might going through, or you might be going through. So from a wife to a warrior. How did it started? It started very well. Before COVID-19, Grace was a full-time housewife in Nakuru. So she is from, you can understand, she is from where I minister here in Nakuru. Married, she was married, and where she deeply loved, she was deeply, remember we have said that before COVID, she was deeply loved by her husband. The husband is the one that was working in a tour company, provided everything to the family, just like a good husband, how they does. He was providing everything to the family. She managed the home and raised their children and supported his dream. But when the pandemic hit in our country, his job vanished almost overnight, because now there is no more tourists that are coming. And now everything, the airport is closed and everything is closed. And there is nothing that he can do. The husband lost the job. And this now start becoming the problem of Grace. For months they tried to survive the storm, but the financial pressure turns affection into aggressions. Fights became normal. Resettlement replaced the romance in their family. Eventually, the marriage broke because it was no longer able to be sustained. He walked away. The husband walked away, and Grace was left alone with the two children and no income. She is just left there with the two children and with no income. What should you do if you are the one? This is now how she started her life again, with no one to turn to. And learn to do. Grace did what many of women are forced to do. When such a time comes, she started selling the clothes by borrowing a friend a loan of 30,000, and she bought her first bill and she opened it in a small town. To everyone that was watching her, she was bouncing back to life. And the people that thought that now she is going to do very well. Within a year, she could build her name for herself. Her shop had many customers. She opened a Facebook page and she started selling online. And everybody could call her blessed. But wait, with no one knew that beneath the lipsticks and likes, Grace was slowly falling apart. So the people could celebrate her, but they could not know what was going through. And now this is now where we can start to see the symptoms of a hidden financial depression. Remember where she has come from her husband, and because of the financial pressure. And now she never thought that she carried some elements and characteristics of the financial depression. She borrowed a loan, and then this one is also increasing the financial depression. But this financial depression is so hidden. But I want to show you the symptoms, how they manifested themselves. Grace looked strongly, but she was cracking. Her sales were dropping, but her expense were raising. She started borrowing the friends, loans, apps, and Shylocks. The worst mistake that she did, what we said yesterday. Not to expand, but to reset the stock and survive. It became difficult. By 5th of every month, the phone calls of the threats from the creditors, from the family, from the Shylocks, from the bank, they are calling her. One Shylock showed up and carried away the fridge. Another one began calling her. Her friends and family. Her dignity was auctioned by the block. She started avoiding the people. A person who was vibrant laughter faded into quiet, withdrawal. She was always online, but emotionally offline. Her sleep became shallow. Her appetite disappeared. And still, she couldn't talk to anyone. She had become what many women are today, strong, silently sinking. What most women they are, with nice dress, with a professional and career, looking so smart, with the lipsticks, with the very nice shape, pretty, elegance, gorgeous, because she has her own money, but the appetite. Now let me repeat it well. Emotionally, she went off. Her appetite disappeared. She became what many women today they are. Strong, silently sinking or dying slowly. This is a story, a real story. The cause behind her crash. What caused her to go down that? Grace never saw it coming because no one ever taught her about the financial depression. She thought money problems just mean lack of income, but hers was deeper. She's working, but there is no income. But when there is income, it's not meeting the expenditure. The expenditure is above the income. And now she's going through. She had no financial literacy. She never knew how to sell, but on how to manage. She borrowed emotionally, not strategically. She lacked multiple income streams. Like many people, especially those who are employed, they lack multiple income streams. And everything depends on one stall. She made panic decisions, buying more stocks instead of analyzing her losses. And above all, Grace, above all, she suffered from silent pride, where most of the people are not willing to swallow it. Silent pride, too afraid to ask for help, and too afraid not to go down, too afraid to downsize her life, to go down below her status. Grace was in pain, but couldn't say it. She was breathing, but still posting motivational quotes in TikTok and in Facebook. What a dangerous position that she was going through. But that was not the breaking point. Let me bring you to the breaking point of Grace. This was the breaking point. And what was the breaking point? One night, after another day of harassment from the debt collectors, this must be on 10, Grace sat on her bed in darkness. No power, no food, no plan. Her children were asleep. Her shop was empty because it was taken by a Shylock. Her heart was heavy. She thought about ending it all. Not because she wanted her to die, but because she couldn't see how it could be living in such a status. And then her voice broke in a whisper, and she prayed, God, if you are still there, send me a help. The angel was a life coach, Pastor Sam Kamau, KBN. Grace breaking point came in silence of a dark room. Her children sleep, depths down her, and hope burning by them. She whispered, God, if you are still there, send me help. That help came not in terms of the money, but in a voice. A Facebook Live by life coach, Pastor Sam Kamau, pierced her despair. His words were motivation staffs. They were surgery to her soul. And the ones that I was speaking in such a kind of the same program, You don't need a loan. You need a new race. You don't need a loan. You need a new race. You don't need, your mind is your first business partner. So you are not working with your mind. In that moment, Grace found more than a mentor. She found a reformer in her life. Pastor Kamau didn't just coach her back to business. He coached her back to life. Like many of you, what you're expecting. And I'm willing to do it. You just need only to reach out on me. I rewired her thinking, redefined her values, and gave her the tools to rebuild with a strategy, faith, and vision. That's what a true life coach does. They don't rescue with the catch. They resurrect you with clarity. You can also reach me. You can also talk to me. The moment you recognize and you know the symptoms of the financial depression, helping people will recognize you. The helping people will recognize you. I just want to stop at that. And I know you are like Grace. You are there struggling and suffering, and you don't know what to do. Just reach out on me. Just take that email and write on me, or you write me on my messenger. DM me, and I'll be your life coach, and I'll coach you. And I know I'll rewire you back to life. I will give you new strength, love the resilient mindset, and the life will come back to you again. So I have written several books, and one of my books that I've written, it's called The Breaking the Soul Tie. You might be there, and you are in a certain relationship, but you never broke that relationship. The spirit and the emotions of that relationship is still haunting you. You need this book. Leash on me. I have also another one, Academic Mindset. For all the students, they require this book. If you desire and you consider excellence in academic performance of your son or your daughter, you need this book. Write to me, text me, WhatsApp me, and then you have this book. So we want to finish there. God bless you and God do you well. I hope you have learned something great. Tomorrow as we look, how do you develop the strategies of raising again from that depression? So God bless you and God do you well. See you tomorrow, the same time, exactly at 4:30 p.m. The same place at the TikTok and also on the Facebook. Before you leave, comment. Before you leave, make sure that you leave a comment. God bless you and God do you well.